because right now it's preparing to stream the meeting. According to Zoom, we are. Everything seems to be very, very slow. Bear with me if you are checking this later. I think so. I don't know. It might be my internet connection. It's real rainy here today. Okay. All right. Looks like it's actually there. Okay. Well, I was going to say good morning, but it's not good morning. It's good afternoon. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to my channel, Sassy Seer Sheila. And this is another mystical, magical musing. I never know what to call these things anymore. So I hope everyone's doing well. I'm just trying to get used to being here more often than I have been. So let's see if we can be coherent today. Today is Saturday, January the 6th, 2024. I almost said 2023, but that's not true. And let's see if we get this Remy card for the third day in a row, huh? It seems to me like, for me personally, something definitely shifted. I won't say directly on the first, but it seems that me personally, I've been noticing that my energy is different and feeling more energy than I have in a very long time. A very long time. Oh, y'all are not going to believe this. This daggum card, you just saw me do it again for the third day in a row. For me, this card is all about allowance, relaxing into oneself and allowing the universe to reveal to me what it wishes to reveal. Now, I read this card in its fullness out of the deck now 2 days ago. Day before yesterday was the first day. It appeared yesterday in our reading. So the fact that I shuffled that twice and then just began doing this and it popped out again tells me that that's definitely the message to me, is to continue to not force things, to continue to move towards that which brings me joy in each moment that presents itself as the universe reveals itself to me and the path that I am to take. Right this moment, I'm being shown that things are, they're moving with a quickness now, and I've been feeling that within my own self, that things, I don't know what that means by things, but the energy itself is moving with such a quickness that again, for me, this is saying just relax into myself, allow whatever is to be to present itself. I don't have to concern myself about what's next, where to go, what to do, how to do it. I will know as it presents. That's one of the hugest things that I've had to really, and that's not an easy thing when you are a controlling personality like myself. I want to try to control everything, and most of, for me, um, that's a very, it stems from trauma. It stems from having very early on in my life not knowing from one moment to the next what's going to happen, and trying then as I got older to control everything, right? For me, that's where that stems from. So learning to allow myself to, because I got to tell you, those of you that have been following me for a while know that what I've the messages that keep coming to me is don't try to control things. Just relax into you. I can trust myself. That's one thing that I feel that all of us, no matter who you are, we've all of us gotten the messages over the years that we can't trust ourselves, that we're just not smart enough, we don't know enough, da 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 da. And I don't feel that so any longer. So, but breaking that programmed conditioning, right? And learning how to just sink in and know that I can trust me at every level. And I got to tell you, the more I do that, the more I'm being shown that that is the case. You know, things like telepathy are becoming off the chain for me personally. Um, you know, things and and even when you trust what you get, then there's other things. I'm going to give you an example. Um, the first time this happened was day before yesterday. As I said, we have been dealing with a lot of, pain and inflammation in this household. And my housemate sent me a telepathic message day before yesterday, well, 3 days ago, as I was moving about the house, to would I please, include her in the clove tea making, right, that I was doing in the kitchen. And at first, I wanted to say, no, she's not even awake. She's resting, because I could see that she had her eyes closed. And I didn't want to make something assuming. And so I tried to argue with myself, and I got it again. And so I said, well, Pshaw, we're going to go ahead and make it. And sure enough, when I came into the living room to set it down beside her, she said, oh, you heard me, because she was in so much pain. And so, when we really do begin to, because then I knew I'd hurt her, but my concern was, well, what if? And now you're going to waste, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. And so when we do trust ourselves and simply just, fall into that trust, um, at least for me, it's really making all the difference. Ooh, that one wanted to flip over even. The breaking, card number 65. The breaking. Well, and what was I just speaking on? Breaking programming. I don't know what this is going to refer to, as this deck isn't very, I haven't worked with this deck very much. So let's see what this one has to say here. Nope, that's not the right one. This is from my Journey of Love deck, which pulled out several, and that's not even it. Here we go. Journey of Love by the same maker of the Rumi Oracle, which is what the other one is. And 65 is numerologically an 11, which is a master number. And I had a feeling, the breaking. You are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There is not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. You, okay, there's one of you watching right now. This is absolutely applying to something you are going through, because that's just huge what I just got right there. That's usually the way it goes for me. If you were attracted to this live, then more than likely there is something here for you. So you are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There is not so much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. You may worry that you are going too far, that you may not recover or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are, to remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before the storm at best. So take the rest if you need it, then dive into the storm. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth, become all that you are meant to be. It is better to have the heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This oracle brings compassionate guidance no matter what sadness or anger, despair, or frustration you may feel. You are being pulled apart not by dark forces, but by the loving embrace of the divine, as it strips you of that which would keep you from your divine realization. Let go and break. It is going to be the making of you. Now, this is very interesting for me, as in our book study yesterday, I can see so clearly, we were speaking about this, all of us together, that, in my past, I've been brokenhearted quite a few times, been married and divorced 3 times. The last one lasted for 28 and a half years. And when things like that are happening, you feel like it's just horrific, and oh, this person did this to me. And in truth, now I see, like I've said before, I see so very clearly with hindsight that these things were blessings. They don't feel like blessings in that moment, but they absolutely have been. I had to go through those things to get to where I am now. And I know that that's never easy when you're going through it and someone says to you that, hey, this too will pass. And it just feels so horrific. And all you want to do is curl up and die. Because believe you me, been there, done that. And, but in truth, that's again our immediate labeling of things, because again, how we were programmed and conditioned from the time we were born, and um, I don't know, there's so much in both of these for me. So, well, and what's so interesting now, I was attracted to a particular tarot reading this morning, and I was kind of wondering now, what in the world is he talking about in here? Because I can't apply any of this to me right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't something coming up, right? And the reading was very much about going through a traumatic something or other that was going to be very heartbreaking, or has been, actually, is the way that he was putting it, very heartbreaking, right? So it seems to me like, and the overall energetic right now, for the entirety of humanity, may actually be very heartbreaking. But I feel as though, oh wow, look at the colors in those and how they have, those are two completely different decks. Same artist, yes, but different decks. This one is card number 24, which is a 6 numerologically, which is balance, harmony, love. This one, number 11, numerologically, card number 65, so it's an 11, which is a master number, right? So even though this one came second, I feel as though it should be read that for for some of us, myself included, perhaps, this is warning me that, hey, something very heartbreaking is about to about to come your way. So be aware that it's time to make sure you relax into you as it transpires. Some time ago, on both my other channels, and I will go and find it now, record it today, and put it out on this channel. Um, a lot of in something called the Starseed contract, they speak about the shattering that all star seeds have to go through before they can realize their mission. I just can't get over this right here. I mean, that I'm holding them because this card is smaller, but when you look at it, holding the bottoms together there, and that's like a perfect, I can't even, looks like one uh you know swash into the other. So I'm going to go ahead and read this card again, number 24, Resplendent with Grace, because I feel as though that's warranted here. For those of you who may not have been here the other day. So this card, Resplendent with Grace, greetings from my heart to you who are always with me. Hidden inside as the heart, you are the compass of my life. My course is your way, no matter where I go. You exist everywhere and in everything, always watching over us. My soul brightens in the darkness when I speak your name. Far beyond the body, there is an opening from my heart into yours. There is an opening from my heart into yours. I couldn't not see that. Wow. Through that opening, I send you secret messages like the moonlight. I polish the mirror of my heart to be your reflection. I make my ear the receiver for the tenderness of your words. You are in the ear. You are in the mind. You are in every burning heart. What am I saying? You are I. This is my way to describe you, Rumi. Your divine grace clothes me in robes of sky blue and blood red, as a shimmering galaxy of compassion within the field of which no being is excluded. The darkness of night is illuminated, and all creatures are bathed in the fine golden hue of your presence. There is only beauty beheld now, for there is nothing that is not of your artistry, of your divine hand, generous with its grace. Is it difficult to see your magnificence? Without a mirror the size of a galaxy, how could you possibly witness all that you are? You must just catch glimpses of your truth now and then. Oh, if you could see yourself as I see you in all your glorious fullness of being. You are swathed in robes of grace so light and freeing that they do not weigh you down, and yet so luscious and full that you cannot help but stir the movement of all of creation as you step this way and that. Of course, it matters not to grace whether you see or do not see, for grace simply is, without witnessing being required. Yet you might live rather differently, my beloved, should you realize you are not only worthy of grace, but actually dripping with it, saturated with divine presence, so rich it leaks out of you and causes sunlight to pool at your holy feet. Oh, yes, you are resplendent in holiness and sanctity. Should you come to know this as I do, you would take each step with awe and reverence. You would decide that not a thing in your world could be classed as mundane, and decide with bold fervor that you are living in godliness and must create your world through choices that honor love. No fear, even the most stubbornly persistent, would be able to withstand the sight of your magnificent beating heart, so wild with life. In the sight of that wild heart, you would have to call all your fears close to you, soothing them with your words of love like riled children in need of tenderness and quiet. Then, when rested, you would wake them from their slumber, and they would arise as falcons, ready to soar to the height of your most daring visions, hunting for life to feed them. They will ensure the ample grace pulsing within your heart has its chance to come to life in the world and serve love. This oracle comes to you with a message. You may be wondering if you can attain this next stage of growth in your life. You are ready. You are already well equipped to do so, no matter what you might believe about the situation, circumstances, or others involved, even yourself. You have within your soul possession more than enough grace to see you through anything you are bold enough to envision for yourself, or for any vision you feel life has bestowed upon you. So pray through unconditional love to access all that you are, to be supported by those beings that love you without condition. Pray to realize that you are so drenched in sacred grace that the well of your being is full. All that is needed to nurture you onto the next step of your life path is within you now. Success is yours, but you must believe in your ability, your readiness, and your capability to take this next phase of the journey now. How could it be otherwise? For you are one with grace. Okay, so Never in the history of any of my YouTube channels has a card come out, the same card, 3 days in a row. Now, three is a very important number for me. It has been for quite some time. It continues to show itself all the time. Uh, as I said yesterday, 33 is in my life path somewhere, not my life path, but in my numerology somewhere, and I can't even remember where actually. But and honestly, like I said, as I was listening to that, and I actually didn't finish it because I thought this didn't apply to me. This doesn't apply to me, so I'll just, move along, right? Because it came into my field and I felt nudged. Oh, yes. And actually, the title was I Can't Believe the. Actually, I'm going to flip right over here and read it to you. I said, I can't believe the. I'm in shock. Never had such a strong confirmation. Wow. It's a reading for Libra because I am a Libra, but I don't know, man. So I'm in shock over here because I've never had such a strong confirmation either that this has got to be the way I move forward, right? And I've got to go back and listen to that reading now and pay very close attention to what they're speaking on because I feel as though, and for those that somebody's wondering what it is, it's Dove and Serpent Tarot. And you can find it on the internet if you like, on YouTube, I should say. And I've got to go back and listen to the whole thing again from beginning. So I don't know, again, this may not apply to you at all. Remember that this is for me and I just do it publicly. Uh, I don't even know why, mostly because it helps me to hear me speak the words. So I can't hardly believe that one. And the fairies are yelling at me, so they have to come out. I thought it was just the fairies, but oh, okay. The surrender deck. I should have known that because that is a posture of surrender for me, in that resplendent with grace. Yeah, in the now 7 years that I've been doing this, right? Um, never have I had a card come out 3 days in a row, the same card. That is just too synchronistic for me. Surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to center. Well, that's real good advice. I don't care, what's going on in your life. They say that stress is actually the number one killer because it's, it underlies so many other conditions. Now, in truth, if I take that in for myself, right? If this card is for me, I am under no stress, mostly because I refuse to put myself under any sort of stress that would kind of go against the move towards what brings you joy in each moment that presents itself. However, that does not mean that what may be coming won't be stressful. And so this then would be a good reminder to surrender that stress. Okay, so the Fairies Oracle from Brian Froud wanted to come out, and I know they have been feeling neglected. All of my cards, actually, especially the ones that I use uh, most often have been feeling neglected. So that may be why I keep hearing them. So, what do you guys have for us today? Oh, okay. The Friends, card number 46. That's a 10 numerologically, so a 1 actually, numerologically. The Friends. Let's see what the friends can tell us. Sometimes friends actually can be a source of stress, but I don't think that's what this is speaking to here. For me, I see this more of and this is really important, okay? I really feel like what I'm about to say here is important. And I want to put this out there to anyone who feels they have no one to talk to, right? And this happens a lot. It did for me for some years because when you first start waking up to the truth of who you are and you aren't quite sure what to believe, right? About yourself, you don't really trust yourself, that sort of thing. Most of us have said, well, I have no one to talk to. My family thinks I'm crazy, all these sorts of things. If you don't have anyone to speak to, reach out to me. Hey, I'm 62 years old. I don't have much of anything to do, and I'm happy to chat with anybody anytime about anything. So, Conscious Conversation Central. There we I don't know how much of that got taken off or if I'm even still live. I bet it's not live anymore. What happened? Am I live? Oh, it says live. Although I have to say on my, okay, wait a minute. It stopped. There we go. Okay, so I don't know what happened there, and I don't know where I left off, but I haven't started reading the card yet. So, I don't know where it cut off because obviously like I said, it's raining here and the internet has been acting kind of weird. All of my equipment has been acting a little weird. So I don't know exactly what you may or may not have heard. Um, but what I was saying when I noticed that it popped off was that one of the things that I feel, and I do feel like there are a lot of light workers who are starting to get this message now. Not all things are going to work for all people. As a matter of fact, what works for me more than likely won't work for you. We are all one and yet singular in nature. And therefore, what is right for me may be wrong for you. I have no clue. As a projector in the human design way of looking at things, I do have the ability to feel into your field, but I always direct you back to you. Because you are the expert for you, as a friend of mine used to say. And, and that's the truth of it, whether you believe it or not. That is the truth of it. It's just whether or not you trust yourself. And you know what? It takes some time when you first start trying to trust yourself. So, this card, the keywords here are friendship, support, aid. The one on top is fairy Nuff, and I've already told you all that he wants me to say about him in the introduction to part two. He and Lao Chan, his high-speed friend beneath, are the best of friends and can nearly always be found together. Call upon Fairy Nuff, and you get Lao Chan as well. And when you know what? And that's the truth about myself, actually. If you call upon me, you generally get me and Lisa. If you call upon Lisa, you generally get Lisa and me. So this is kind of interesting to me, the way this is coming out here. So very interesting. But so it says, and when you need support or to better understand true friendship, do call upon them. And that's the truth. We That's one of the reasons we adore our book study club so much. We've shared with the ladies there that, our book study times are very precious to us because it actually ends up being more of a support group than just a book study group. So, if you're ever interested in joining us, just reach out, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com, and we'll let you know when we're starting our next one. As children, we all have fairy playmates and fairy guardians. As we grow older, the pressure of parents and others in our community often nag us into blocking our visions of and communications with fairies. Now, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, then you will know that that absolutely happened to me. In the fourth grade, I, I was actually sent away. My mother was so exasperated. I was called a liar. They sent me home from school because I was causing such a ruckus with all the other children, telling them about my playtime with the fairies. I had a little neighborhood girl who had a bunch of fairies in her yard, and we played and talked with those fairies all the time until I was called a liar, and finally my mother sent me away to Ohio, where I would be separated from that young girl in our neighborhood there in Florida. So, it's kind of interesting to me that this actually says this right here. And it got to the point where, again, when you're told by those who feed, clothe, and spank you that you're not seeing what you're seeing, stop lying. Eventually, you don't see it anymore. You don't, you ignore it so you don't get in trouble. And so if you yourself have a child who is telling you that, what's the harm? What's the harm? Just because you can't see a thing doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Sorry to say, but that's the true matter right there. For me, anyway, let's just put it that way. Fairy Nuff and Lao Chan can help us go back to that childlike trust in the fairies and to renew our forgotten friendships with them. They can also often help us to learn more about the true meaning of friendship. They are just now beginning to make themselves known to me again. Here's a little poem that they've included here. Hands outstretched, reach across the rushing water. You steady me, I steady you on the slippery rocks of time. Hands reaching, giving, and giving in return. I am so grateful to you for being there. I could never have managed alone. And I want to dedicate that to Lisa Flamino Rush, because the truth of the matter is, and I always get choked up when I think about this, Once upon a time, someone said to Lisa, well, you don't know who she is. You don't know who she is. She said, yes, I do. And I love her anyway. That is the definition of unconditional love. And belief in each other is what we have to, it's imperative in these moments of now to believe in yourself. And the moment you begin to believe in yourself, you don't have any trouble believing in anyone else, at least not for me. So, friendly cooperation with others is necessary to reach mutual goals. Willingness to give and receive assistance and support is also required. Ask friends for help and suggestions. Listen with respect and accept the gifts willingly offered. Unconditional receiving is even more difficult than unconditional giving. 4 feet are more stable than 2. That's true. Alternatively, Fair Enough and Lao Chan may be saying that you will benefit at this time from offering support and aid to a friend. Look around you. Someone you love may be needing your help and be too bound up by fear of rejection or pride to ask. Volunteer your help to your friends and give unconditionally from a generous, loving heart. It will do you good, increasing your store of credit for help in time of need, and it may even help them. Well, I got to tell you, that's a really, you know, whenever something like that happens for me, I don't do it for what could be given back to me. I do it for me, period. And with an open and loving heart. If you can't do it with an open and loving heart and you want to, you know, then don't do it at all because that it kind of wastes your efforts. And I personally think that it can even make it worse. Well, that's it for this reading. Wow. All I can say. Now, I'm hoping that I might be able to come back tonight. We're going to see how the energy holds. I really have been feeling to do a little live an intuitive hangout. So if you guys are interested in having me read a card for you, now I'm still not going to tonight. We'll see how it goes. Generally, I don't particularly care for questions because, then you never know. You might get the 65-year-old grandma who will just want to give you advice. I prefer it when the question is held in the field. Only you know your question. And I feel into your field, and we just kind of go from there. Um, so if you're interested in that, be on the lookout tonight. It will be between probably 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if that's something that you're interested in, the way it works is you just come into the live chat. You tell me that you would like to have a card. I write your name down and I just go in the order in which it comes. But now keep in mind too that sometimes it takes a little bit to get to you. And so you got to be patient and wait your turn. So there's that. There's no charge for any of these kinds of things. I don't charge for anything I do. It's all on a gift basis. I gift you, you gift me just with your presence. So thank you guys for being here. Oh, Quinn J, good morning, sweet friend. I'm so glad to hear. Oh, I love what you've done. I've seen what you've done with your yard and those beautiful flowers. I know they're not there now, but you've really got it just beautiful. I saw what you were doing over the summer, and it's just gorgeous. So, congrats, my friend, on growing those beautiful blooms there. How beautiful that you have all of that color and beauty surrounding you. I'm so glad that you did that for yourself. Ah, oh, and I just got confirmation from, well, see, for me, there's a lot of people would separate elementals and fairies, and I don't. They, uh they are elementals. For me, the Fae kingdom are the elementals, and what I just got was they're very happy as well. So the more time you spend in and among your beautiful garden that you've created there, and concentrate with your bare feet in the earth and ask to commune with them, most specifically the flowers, okay? Um, the actual blooms themselves. I feel as though you yourself either have or will begin, they will begin to show themselves to you. And that's the thing a lot of people don't seem to understand. They are there always. They're slightly out of phase. They have the ability to show themselves or not. And they don't show themselves to everyone. You can see them where the guy standing next to you may not. And that has to do with belief. Okay. So I'm just letting you know that I'm being shown that they are dancing in your gardens when they are in full bloom. And one of the ways, and they're just grateful to you for giving them another area with which to play. So my feel is the more time you spend there sharing your energy in a, and I wouldn't go out necessarily just when you are in pain or stress and you're trying to relieve it, going out and putting your feet in the earth and just in a open-hearted way of communing. I feel as though you will begin to feel their presence more than likely first. And as you go and know, but that's just the key there, you will have to know that they would like contact with you. And I feel like that's a real thing, Quinn. So I would love to hear from you if that's the case once you um, have done that. And let's see. I gave my beautiful plants and perennial flowers to the small world garden here in Kenosha. They were, they will be able to grow much bigger and fuller, hopefully. Oh, okay. Well, how lovely. You, but see, you already have something going there. And I feel as though if you continue on with it and open yourself, um, well, okay, so what I'm being shown now is that the desire is for for you to believe. They know you have the skill, and now they'd like to commune. Why not? Okay, till next time, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of perspective. And if you find yourself in a situation where, oh, there's no joy in Joyville in this situation, Sheila, I don't know what you're talking about. Step up onto a rock, give yourself a few moments, center, feel into it, and know there's always more than one way to see a thing, to perceive a thing. There's always more than one perspective. And in the heat of the moment, you may not see it, but if you will only allow yourself that quarter of a second, even a moment, 1 minute, you'll find that you can see something that will bring you a higher amount of joy than what you might have said or thought or felt prior.